Welcome to Navigating the Customer Experience. Want to improve your organization's customer service? Looking for insider tips to knock your customer socks off? Then you're in the right place. Here's your host, Yannick Grant.
Welcome to Navigating the Customer Experience. On today, we have a very special guest, and his name is Beute. Ethan is Chief Evangelist at BombBomb, co-author of Rehumanize Your Business, and host of the Customer Experience podcast. Ethan has collected and shared video success stories in a variety of formats for a decade. He's even sent 10,000 videos himself. Prior to joining BombBomb, he spent a dozen years leading marketing teams inside local television stations in Chicago, Grand Rapids, and Colorado Springs. He holds an undergraduate and graduate degrees from the University of Michigan and UCCS in communication, psychology, and marketing. So without further delay, sit back, relax, plug in your earphones, and let's have a great conversation with Ethan. Welcome, Ethan.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You know, it's funny. So I didn't realize that I had you on the episode today. And I listen to podcasts every now and again. So yesterday morning when I was exercising, I decided to type in Customer Experience Podcast, and yours popped up. And I said, hey, let me listen to this episode. It was with a gentleman talking about communication, and pretty much it's the last episode that you put out. I don't remember his name. I think he was Gil. Or it was
Brian Gilman,
right,
from Vonage.
There we go, right. So I listened to that entire episode and I was like, why does the name of this gentleman that's hosting the podcast sound so familiar? And I'm thinking, I know I haven't interviewed him as yet. And then when I went to my calendar and I saw your name, I was like, oh, no wonder he sounds familiar. He's on an upcoming episode, which is actually tomorrow. I mean, what are the chances of me just bucking up an episode and listening to it in its entirety, and then after actually connecting that? I thought that was brilliant. So it was a really good episode. Yeah, it was really good. And there's some things you said in that episode that leads back to some of your previous episodes that talks about like friction in customer service that I actually want to go back and listen to. So I'm really happy I bucked up on it.
Good. So, thank you so much for giving it a listen.
You're welcome. So Ethan, could you share with us a little bit about your journey? I know your bio says that, you know, you have a undergraduate and graduate in communication, psychology, and marketing, and you work at this awesome company called BombBomb, and you wrote this book called Rehumanize Your Business. Share with us a little bit about how you got onto this journey of marketing and customer experience, and how you landed at BombBomb, and of course, you know, the book that you wrote. What inspired you to write the book, and what impacts has it had on your clients and as well as non-clients?
Sure. My story of how I arrived at BombBomb. So, you know, as you read in the bio there, I spent a dozen years in local television, and that was kind of by accident. I was at the University of Michigan. I always liked school. I was good at it. I enjoyed learning and growing, and I didn't really have any career direction. And so I ended up in the communication department there, and wound up going back home to my hometown of Grand Rapids, Michigan for the summer, and got an internship in television, and then ended up doing that for about a dozen years. But I was bored of it. I was tired of the work. It's highly repetitive. Television news is not a particularly interesting product after a certain amount of time. And so I was doing all kinds of project work, and I hope some of the listeners can relate to this. I wasn't quite sure, you know, I had been doing about the same work, obviously with some nuanced differences, for a long time. And so I was wondering, you know, what else would I be good at? What do I enjoy doing? What skills do I have that would be transferable to someplace else? And I had done, you know, in television, you do a lot of writing and producing and editing. So I was very comfortable with video. And I had met the two co-founders of BombBomb socially when I moved out here to Colorado Springs. And they were, you know, building this company from nothing. And so I did project work with those guys for a couple of years. I wrote some email campaigns. I made a couple videos for them. I wrote some website copy. And I just really liked them. I liked what they were about. I liked the mission that they were on. I liked the purpose behind the company, which is not just to generate revenue and be, you know, financially successful. There's a lot of purpose behind the work. And so I knew when they could make me a somewhat competitive offer to leave the television station that I would join them. And so I did that almost 9 years ago now. And as for the book, you know, I was just really excited about what we were doing. I think I hit my sixth year full time at BombBomb, and when I started, we maybe had 1 or 200 customers, and now we have over 55,000. At the time, I think we had over 35 or 40,000. I was just really excited about how far we had come as a company and as a team and as a community of people who are being more personal and more human in their communication. And maybe we can get into the nuance there, but just to tie it to the book, I just felt like, we're marketing the service. We have positive word of mouth, customers that like us, really, really like us and bring more customers to us, which is, all any business could really ask for, is that their customers are so satisfied that they bring new customers to you willingly for no compensation. And so I was just excited about the growth of the community and the movement. And I felt like a book, like a traditional book, would be, beyond our webinars and our blog posts and our social media and some of these other things and our customer base spreading the word. I felt like a mainstream business book about this opportunity to use casual, conversational, unscripted videos would get the message to more people. I know, and then I'll give it back to you here. I know that we will be in a better world. It'll be a better place to live and work when more people are more personal, more often in their business communication. And so that was what motivated me to start writing. And I started writing it between 5 and 6 in the morning on my own time in the better part of a Saturday or a Sunday, most weekends. And then started talking about it with some of my team members because I wasn't sure, A, how to write a full-length book, and B, how to get it to market. So I had to work on both of those at the same time and ended up going with a pretty traditional publisher called Wiley. I had read a lot of books that they had released, and I liked them. And it was a fun journey. To the last part of the question there, one of the things I did in preparing to write the book was I reread books written by people I knew and then asked them if they would talk about the process of writing their book. And all 6 people I reached out to said yes. And the one theme that was very consistent for them was releasing a book will open doors that you didn't know existed. Mm-hmm. And by that, it's just, you're not doing it to capitalize on a particular opportunity or to create a particular outcome. It's just that doing it will open up opportunities that you didn't know were opportunities. And I would say that has come to be relatively true. I think it's one of the reasons you and I are talking today. We've sold a lot of copies of the book. People that I don't know are reaching out to me directly by email because I include my email in the book and reach out by LinkedIn and other networks. And it's just really neat to see the impact that it's having on people. Because again, it's you get to be yourself more often. It's just so wonderfully satisfying, and then it builds human connection. And so it's been delightful to have it out in the world.
Brilliant, wonderful. So Ethan, can you share with us a little bit about? I know you mentioned videos, and I don't want to misconstrue based on what I'm thinking you do. Could you explain to us when you say humanize the connection with customers using video through the services that BombBomb provides, what does that look like in reality? If I was to employ that strategy in my business, what would that look like?
Okay, very good. So when I say video, I think a lot of people, when they think about video in a business context, they think about lights and scripts and budgets and drones and green screens and expensive equipment and all these other things. And that's all nice. If you're using that style of video in YouTube or on your homepage or in social media or whatever, that's fantastic. And you should continue doing that. If you're not doing that, there's an opportunity that every business has, that every person has, and that is to replace some of your plain typed out text. Right? This faceless digital communication, the same black text on the same white screen that doesn't differentiate you, it doesn't build trust and rapport, and it doesn't communicate nearly as well as when you jump on a video call or you jump on a Skype call or you get on the phone or you see people in person, right? There's so many benefits to bringing to life your message. And by using your webcam or your smartphone in a casual, conversational, unscripted type of way, you can be more personal and more human more often. And so what BombBomb does, and we're not the only company that does it, we make it really, really easy to record these video messages and send them to people, typically by email, but you can also share them through Facebook Messenger or LinkedIn Messenger. You can text the videos to people, etc. And so when you think about video, the way we think about it, we call it relationships through video, and to draw a line against marketing through video. And I don't mean against as in that's not a good thing, you shouldn't do it. As I already said, if you're doing marketing through video, right, like budgets and scripts and things, good, keep doing it. But this relationships through video piece is just about being a person instead of being a 2 or 3 paragraph block of text. And so you're wondering maybe, when would I use this? We could talk use cases for the rest of our conversation here, but I'll just share a couple to get people's minds going. One of the most important things that we can do for our customers and for our employees and for our partners and suppliers and vendors and other people in our business ecosystem is to say thank you. And so if you only used video, if you took 5 minutes every morning and you thought of 2 or 3 people and you just said thank you. Thank you so much for filling out that survey. Thank you so much for renewing your contract. Thank you so much for taking the time to have that phone call with me. Thank you so much for spending 2 years of your career with us. Congratulations. It's a 2-year anniversary of you being an employee on this team. You've grown so much. I appreciate you so much. And I look forward to what the next 2 years brings us, right? These kinds of things. Thank you. Good job. Congratulations. I've been thinking about you. I was excited to hear. I was sad to hear. It doesn't all have to be positive. We can just be, kind of honest in relationship building with people. And so there are just countless ways to use it. You can use it to get potential customers to set more appointments and to actually show up for those appointments. If you are presenting a contract or a proposal, you can record a video to go along with it. So you can talk about how you structure the contract, things that typically people have questions about. If you negotiated some aspect of it, you can be sure to explain away the fact that you accommodated whatever their need or interest was. You can use video for onboarding new customers. You can use videos to ask for online reviews or testimonials or referrals or whatever. Any message that your company is sending, anytime you're clicking send, is an opportunity to potentially add a video to bring the message to life and to get more people to say yes because they feel more connected to you.
Wow, that's brilliant. I don't think I've ever heard of that business model before. And you said you have competition in this space. There are other companies that offer the same type of service?
Yeah, we have a lot more competitors than we did maybe 3 or 4 years ago. We've been at it. The company was legally founded in 2006. I joined BombBomb full-time in 2011. And so we've really pioneered this space with and through and for our customers. And again, that's kind of that excitement was what motivated me to write a book when no one was asking for it. And so it's been interesting to see the growth of the movement. However, to your observation, it's still relatively small. We have 55 or 58,000 customers, but when you start thinking about how many people use email every day in a business context, it's, tens, if not hundreds of millions of people. Yeah. And whether you're in sales or you're in customer service or you're in marketing or you're in leadership and management, if you are in administration and talent management, all of these opportunities, all these, we're all using email all the time, and we could all save a little bit of time by talking instead of typing. And again, we can be more clear because the message isn't just plain words on a screen. It's your face and your voice and your personality and your expertise and your sincerity and your enthusiasm and all those really rich, wonderful human qualities that just don't come through when we strip ourselves out of our messages.
Yeah, that's so true. That's brilliant. That's really a very unique approach. So let's say, for example, you have a client who takes up your service and they decide to humanize their messages through these videos, right? Yes. After they've made the video, is it a case where your platform now modifies the video Because as you said, you started out by saying some people think it's a great investment because you have to get a green screen and a professional camera and a teleprompter. And, all of that can be just so time consuming, especially if video editing and those things are not your primary core business. Let's say your primary core business is, I don't know, sanitation or selling fans. But no, you have to be mastering a new skill in order to be able to refine this message in a video, as you said, to humanize that experience. How is it that you guys transform it? Is it that we just send the video to you as a client and then you transform it based on your platform? I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how it works.
Sure, right. So we make it really easy to record these videos. So we have a video recorder that you can access on your phone or on your laptop. We have our own web app that you can log into at BombBomb.com and do a variety of things. We work directly on your iPhone or on your Android phone through a mobile app. We work directly inside the Gmail inbox. We have a Google Chrome extension that allows you to record from the top of your browser. We have integrations with a number of other services like Salesforce or Zendesk and a variety of other platforms as well. And so all that happens. So for example, I use Gmail every day. BombBomb.com is a Google Apps domain. And so I check my BombBomb email in Gmail. Mm-hmm. And so, when someone sends me an email and I want to explain something back, or I want to say thank you, or I want to get clear, or I want to maybe record myself and my screen to give an update on a particular project or a report, I just hit the record button directly in the composer, the reply window. It opens up the BombBomb recorder. I click record. It counts me down 3, 2, 1. I start talking to the person or the people, right? You can send these to more than one person. And, as soon as I'm done, I hit stop. And we host the video for you automatically and securely in the cloud. Mm-hmm. We take the first 3 seconds of your video and turn it into a little animated preview. And so when your recipient or your recipients get your video message, it's a little 3-second animated loop that says, play 47-second video, but they can see you and they can see that you're moving or that you're talking or that you're sharing your screen or whatever else you might be doing in the beginning of that video. And so we take out all the steps that would be required to try to do this yourself. A lot of people wonder like, hey, can't I just do this myself? And like, yeah, you can, but it's going to take a lot more steps. Correct. Yeah. I mean, you don't send – here's one thing I always say. We have about 1,000 customers who've sent 1,000 or more videos themselves. I've sent more than 10,000. One of my team members has sent more than 17,000 videos. But I'll speak to the 1,000 customers of ours who've each sent 1,000 or more videos. You don't send your 1,000th video unless 2 things are true. One, it gets you better results than what you were doing before. You don't do something 1,000 times because because it's not helpful. You do it because it is helpful. So it's obviously a more effective way to communicate in lots of instances. And then you don't do something 1,000 times if it's not fast and easy to do. If it's cumbersome, if it's slow, you're just not going to get there. And so if you're going to try to make a habit of, using some kind of a recorder on your own and uploading the video to YouTube, but then marking it to private because it's not for your channel, it's just for these 3 people. And then you're going to screenshot that video and put it in an email and link the screenshot over to the YouTube video. Like, you're never going to do that 1,000 times. It's just too many steps. And so what we do for you is we take all of the challenge away, put it in a nice little streamlined process so it's quick and easy to do. And then we also tell you your results. We can tell you who's opening your emails. We can tell you who's clicking your links. We can tell you who's watching your videos. We can tell you how long your videos are being watched on average and a number of other things as well.
Okay, so you provide analytics as well in addition, almost like an email marketing platform if you were to send out an email blast.
In fact, yeah, that's kind of how we started. When we started in selling the service in like 2009, 2010, at the time it was mostly essentially like a MailChimp or a Constant Contact, but designed around video, with video being deeply integrated in the experience. So to your observation, which is a very smart one, we do allow you to drag and drop and make nice looking email designs. You can upload lists of people and send to some people or all of the people. It is an email marketing platform, but where we really saw this transform people's businesses is in this kind of lighter weight, higher volume video messaging piece. And so we spent a lot more of our time and energy focused on kind of the quicker, lighter weight use cases than, say, sending out a video newsletter every month, which a lot of our customers still do. It's very useful, and we do it ourselves.
Nice, very nice. Well, I think that is game changing. I don't think I'm seeing anybody in Jamaica, and I'm speaking for my local market, using video the way you have just described it and how BombBomb offers it. I think that it's really, really good. What I see a lot of people doing, and I know video is the new buzzword for definitely for 2020 for sure, especially since the pandemic, is on most social media platforms, especially LinkedIn. Video is a very big thing now. I mean, everybody is producing all of these videos, pretty much explainer videos or marketing and sales videos telling you about what they do, or just free value in terms of content about, sales and marketing, or how you can offer better service experiences to your customers. And so I originally, when you said video, I wasn't clear. I wasn't sure if you were talking about video from a social media marketing perspective or from an email marketing. So now that you've gone very granular and explained how the process works, this to me makes sense, because, I mean, as you said, you really feel like the experience is more humanized when you can see and hear the person's voice, you see their facial expression. It's different than just writing an email, and it's probably even quicker. So,
absolutely.
I think that's really, really amazing. And I'm definitely going to have the links to BombBomb's website in the show notes of this episode, because I think our listeners would definitely benefit from a service like this. So, all right. So we spoke about video and how video can definitely humanize the experience for our customers. One other thing that I'm really curious about, Ethan, is in the book, do you speak about how it is that you can build better relationships with your customers?
Yes, I think it's just inherent in how we approach what we do. It's a deep part of our philosophy, in addition to being part of the practice. The key to human connection is very obviously allowing other people to feel seen and heard and appreciated. This is one of our deepest needs as a human being is, I just want to be seen and appreciated. I want to be recognized for who I am as a unique individual. And so it's really, it would be difficult to write a book about the way we view business and the way that we see opportunities to take what you're doing every day and to make it more effective by making it more personal, and not have a relationship basis. Relationships, we have 5 core values at BombBomb, and we've had them since the company was founded. And the first and foremost that underpins everything that we do is relationships.
Good.
We think that in this environment, I'll cross over into customer experience here, in this environment that we're in 2020, and different markets are different industries are different, but in general, it is fair to say that competition is now hyper competition, that product parity or service parity is a reality, that if you innovate and you create this new feature of your product or service, it's not going to take very long for a competitor to knock that off and to make their own version of whatever this innovation is. And so, the thing that makes you different is how you make your customers feel. It's in the relationship that you have with them. And obviously, when we're a team of 135 people or so, and we have 55,000 customers, we don't know every single one of our customers personally, but we all take care to get to know as many of them as we can in the course of our work, right? By doing customer interviews, by reading their feedback, by sending them videos. When I see questions on social media, I will engage with those directly myself, as will several of our team members. When I read these, now I'm getting a little bit tactical here. So we use Slack at BombBomb,
Right.
and one of our channels inside Slack automatically ingests all of our NPS or Net Promoter Score feedback. And of course, that's a 10-point scale. And so you can see the scores, but I read all of the comments that people leave because it's, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to refer BombBomb to somebody else?
Right.
And then what is the reason for that? And sometimes someone will just type a couple words. Sometimes people will type 2 or 3 paragraphs. And I read all of those, and I will, during any given week, I'll probably send 5 or 10 of those people a personal video just to address their problem or their question or to say thank you, these types of things. And you can't do it for everybody, right? It doesn't perfectly scale, but the more attention we can pay to what our customers think and feel, and the more that we can make them feel seen and appreciated for who they are uniquely as human beings, the stronger the relationship, and therefore the stronger the company. Like your company, as you're listening to this as a listener, your company only exists really for one primary reason, which is to attract, convert, and retain customers. And it's obviously an exchange of value. As I already said, we all face more competition, no matter our business, than ever before. And so the more we can take care to treat our customers and our employees, for that matter, by the way, a great customer experience is impossible without a great employee experience. Yep. We have to make our employees feel seen and heard and appreciated as well. And so we need to just take a little bit of time out of the day. And frankly, it's a very healthy way to live. To communicate more directly, more often with the people who are key to our individual and our collective success. I don't know if that answered the question, but I obviously feel very strongly about these things, and I appreciate the opportunity to share that.
Of course. And I mean, Ethan, you hit the nail on the head when you spoke about the fact that if you're going to have an amazing or a fantastic customer experience, it starts from within. I always tell my clients that when there's a consistent feedback from customers about a bad experience, whether it is in product quality or just how the employee deals with you or the long wait time that you have and nobody even, takes the time to say, listen, we're working on serving you. Could you give us a few moments? Just communicating and caring to say it to people so they know what is happening every step of the way. If you're having a consistently bad experience on the outside, we strongly believe that it's a symptom of something that's happening internally, why the customers on the outside are feeling it, because the service experience starts from within. How you treat your employees, how responsive you are to their concerns, any challenges that they may be having. Do you support them when they make their wins as much as you support them when things may not go well? Because we're human, and yes, we're humanizing the experience, but human beings make mistakes. And I think how we handle and manage people making mistakes is so critical, because it can either drive them into fear where they don't want to make the mistake again and so they won't take any risks to try and enhance the experience, or it can empower them and let them want to go above and beyond to try and serve the customer because they know that their team or their management will stand behind them when mistakes are made, once those decisions are being made in benefit of the customer.
So good. I really, really appreciate that. And I agree with you 100%. And I guess the only thing I would add is that a lot of it is about managing expectations, right? Like being more clear obviously with customers, right? Like disappointment is a function of expectation, and so the more we can make clear, what is a reasonable wait time? I know that when we were a much smaller business, we felt a lot of pressure to, meet the standards of excellence that, our customers' expectations are being set by, multi-billion-dollar companies like Amazon and Apple and some of these other, the brand names that we all go to when we think about excellent experience. And so I just want to empathize with the small business owners who are listening and saying, gosh, I only have 6 employees. I can't, get back to everyone instantly. That is perfectly okay. We just need to manage expectations. And I think the more direct we are about who we are and what we're about and how we approach things, the more clear and honest you can be with people. I think the more grace you buy yourself. And then the other important side of the expectation piece is what you said about employees and making sure that they feel safe making mistakes, that they feel safe taking reasonable risks, because that's what we have to do if we're going to stand out. And the last thing I'll add here is when someone, whether it's an employee or it's a customer, is confused or disappointed or frustrated, we can start to feel bad about that. But that's actually a really great opportunity to deepen the relationship, to make things right, to work our way through it, or to talk our way through it, or apologize if necessary. And your relationship is going to be stronger on the other side of that. The real threat to your business is the quiet customer or the quiet employee who's just sitting there a little bit confused, a little bit frustrated, not so frustrated or angry that they're going to raise their voice about it, but then they're just going to silently disappear one day. They're going to stop buying, or they're going to, start looking for another job and take another job. And you never know that they were confused or frustrated or disappointed or whatever the case may be. And so that's why we need to keep these communication channels open, make it really easy for people to share what they're thinking and feeling, and to pay attention to that feedback. It's the worst thing you can do is to collect feedback and not pay any attention to it, because then the person feels doubly unheard.
Yeah.
You actually asked me for my feedback. I actually took the time to be thoughtful about my approach, and you didn't respond, you didn't read it, you didn't use it, you'd made no change. And so that's making a bad situation even worse. And so anyway, there's just a few cautions and thoughts around what you shared there. And I really, really appreciate your valuing of internal service quality.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the things that I've picked up over the years as a customer service trainer. One thing I'd love to get your feedback on, and this is I got this question from a participant in a workshop I had last week online, and she asked the question: if you work in an organization where you send an email and the email that you've sent is asking for, let's say, an update or information that I will need in order to complete a particular task or activity to complete a project, and it's time sensitive, and all of that was outlined in the email, but nobody in the department even chooses to respond to say they've acknowledged the email, they're working on gathering the information, or they don't have the information, no feedback is provided. And so it's almost like you have to be calling the department to find out if they got the email. And then when you do call them, they say, oh yeah, we got the email. And then that's it. There's no apology. There's no, we're working on it. How do you adjust in an environment where people don't give feedback in an organization? Is it protocol? What's the best protocol, I should say, when you send an email to someone asking for something? Should they respond or should they not respond?
Gosh, that sounds so frustrating. I always, again, I guess I'll go back to expectation management. As a team member, we need to model the behavior we want to see. The culture is built one decision, one behavior at a time, and everyone is responsible for building the culture. The culture is what is normal and acceptable around here. And so I don't think it's acceptable, personally, for a team member to be in need of something, to need something from one or more other people, and they can't make any progress, and the other people don't respect them or the work enough to respond in a timely manner. So I just think that's a bad situation, obviously. And so, for example, a team member of ours, he just got a new position within our company. He has a very important role. It's very important to a lot of the work that we're doing. And he's looking to generate some strategies here going into the third quarter that we just entered. And, he specifically asked for, I want 15 ideas to move X to Y. And he's asking that of everybody, and then he's going to compile it, and then we're going to have a meeting and a discussion about it. And I knew that was going to require at least 2 hours of my time. And I got this email last Wednesday, and he wanted the feedback by the end of the week. And so I replied to him. I was like, Rob, I think what you're doing is really, really important. I do not have 2 hours between now and the end of the week. But here are, 4 or 5 or 6 things that I'm thinking about. As soon as I saw your questions, these are some things I thought about. So So I told him, I'm not going to honor your full request. I just can't do it. But here are some valuable thoughts. And he was very appreciative and thankful. And so as soon as I saw it, I thought, okay, maybe I'll look at this tomorrow and see if I can find 2 hours tomorrow. And then I got realistic with myself and I said, I'm not going to have 2 hours tomorrow. I'm not going to have 2 hours this week. And so again, managing those expectations and getting back to people right away. The other thing I would say that I see a lot of people miss on internally, and I could tell a story around this, but I won't, just to save time. We need to use more than one channel very often. And we do need to think about these types of requests as campaigns. So if you are reaching out to 5 or 10 other team members and you need something by the end of the following week, let's just say it's 7 business days away. Mm-hmm. Well, you can't just send that one email and then just hope it happens 7 days later. You send an email that Wednesday. And then you send maybe another one on Friday or Monday. Hey, just a quick reminder. And then you send another one on Thursday. Hey, just a reminder, by tomorrow I need, right? And for me, I would do it by email and I would probably do it by Slack as well. Mm-hmm. I would also, as you think about having multiple touches between now and the delivery of whatever's needed, I would use what other people are giving as a way to kind of create some awareness around it too. So it'd be like, hey, just a reminder, if you're getting this email, I need X, Y, and Z by the end of the week. And here's something that Jennifer shared with me. Here's something that Steve shared with me. And I would love to know what you think too, right?
Okay.
And so
kind of gives them motivation to say, okay, other people are responding, so they'll be more motivated to respond themselves.
Yep, absolutely. So think of it as a little campaign. You can't just send one email and expect everyone to perform because we're all super, super busy. And so think about using multiple communication channels and think about using some time-spaced reminders to people as well.
Good. Excellent. Those are wonderful solutions. All right. Okay. So Ethan, can you share with us what's the one online resource, tool, website, or app that you absolutely can't live without in your business? I think I have an idea of what you're going to share, but go ahead.
You know what? I will. I'll go ahead and do it. I know I'm going to say it. I would hope most listeners would expect that I'm going to say it. I honestly, the Google Chrome extension that I use every day from BombBomb, and of course I am a little bit biased, but again, I have tens of thousands of people who would agree with me, just dramatically changes my relationship with my inbox, but more importantly, my relationship with the people who are in my inbox. These messages aren't just messages. These messages are relationships. They're the foundation for the relationships that make me successful as an individual and make us successful as a marketing team at BombBomb and make us successful as a company and more broadly make us successful as a community. I also will use the Chrome extension to send videos to people via LinkedIn message. So instead of having all these anonymous connections that we make where we maybe look at their profile the day that we connect and maybe never communicate with them again, I've been taking care to record short personal videos for people to thank them, to introduce a couple things I like to talk about and communicate about. And the nature of the conversations that I'm enjoying with my new connections bring the network to life in such a more meaningful way than just this kind of collection of people who've clicked I accept. You know, it just really closes the world down and people all over the world. And so it's really interesting and exciting. And, you know, not every relationship becomes amazing, but it certainly increases the odds of it right out of the gate. And so I think, again, being myself and being accepted and engaged with for who I am as a person and as a professional is satisfying for me, but it also lets other people feel like they're being seen and heard as well. It's just really wonderful.
Yeah, brilliant. It's funny you said use it for LinkedIn because I recently connected with a gentleman from Trinidad. And I remember when I accepted the invitation, he sent me a video. Hey, Yannick. It was very personalized. Hey, Yannick, great to connect with you. Just wanted to hop on and, you know, find out how your Sunday is going. And I was like, wow, it really wowed me because I've connected with lots of people on LinkedIn and most of them are very spammy. You know, off the bat, they start telling you about what they're selling and, you know, no interest in whether or not I'm even interested in their product or service. but it wasn't about sales. And the fact that he sent it in the form of a video, it seemed like he just recorded it like at the front porch of his house. It was a Sunday morning. The street was like in his background. I thought that it was really authentic and it was very human, because he clearly would be doing that on a Sunday morning. It didn't seem like it was staged or it was put on. It was just very authentic. And I was very impressed.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And now you feel a little bit like you know him.
Yeah, I did. It was very interesting. So I think video for sure can definitely help to enhance those types of experiences. Now, Ethan, can you share with us maybe one or two books that have had the biggest impact on you? It could be a book that you read recently, or maybe something that you read a very long time ago, but it still stays with you to this very day.
Sure. I think, and these may be a little bit atypical, but the first book that comes to mind when you ask that question is a book called The Ecology of Commerce by Paul Hawken. And I picked it up at a used bookstore sometime in the mid to late 90s. I was a very young person, and it was very impactful on me. It's essentially about the intersection, obviously, of the economy and ecology in general, and some of the choices that we're making as customers, but also as businesses, how they affect the natural environment. And it was impossible for me to read that book and see the world the same way. And I still, I've read it several times now, and it's just a fantastic read. And so again, that's The Ecology of Commerce by Paul Hawken. The other one that comes to mind is well, two of them, I guess, from Yvon Chouinard, the founder of Patagonia. The first one is called Let My People Go Surfing. And the thing that I really like about that one, there's a section in there called Philosophies, where he breaks down the approach to various important aspects of a business. That is just a fantastic section of the book. There's also some company history in there. But at a high level, one of the things I really, really enjoyed about it is that he didn't start the company intending to be some, at this point, gosh, I got to imagine he's a multimillionaire. It's been such a successful brand, but and they really lead the way in environmental stewardship in a lot of cases. And he was not trying to start a business. He was just trying to fund his hobby of rock climbing and surfing. And so, I would imagine that of the people that are listening to this conversation right now, that there are people that started the business because that they're running because they just didn't know any other way. Like, this is just what I'm supposed to do. This is what I have to do. This is who I am. This is what I need to do. And I think a lot of people will find themselves, picking up some good ideas, particularly out of that philosophy section, but B, just identifying with this guy who, through the natural, normal course of events, just found himself running a business based on his personal passion, which is always inspiring.
True. Okay. So we'll have those two books in the show notes of this episode for all of our listeners who would like to grab a copy of those books so that they can definitely expand their knowledge and learning. Now, Ethan, can you share with us one thing that's going on in your life right now, something that you're really excited about, either something that you are working on to develop yourself or your people?
Well, I'm constantly reading and listening to podcasts. And so, gosh, when I think about something really exciting so I'm married. I've been married for many years. We have a teenage son who is starting to look at colleges and universities because he's entering his senior year of high school right now. And so, it's just a really interesting phase of his life and our lives. And it's just interesting to think about, this person who not that long ago was a toddler, is now on the verge of, really launching off into his own decisions and his own life and becoming a more fully realized person with more independence. And that whole process is just so challenging and exciting and scary and curious and joyful and nerve-wracking. And so there's just we've been spending a lot of time on that.
All right. So that's an exciting thing to be working through. I guess I'll be there with you in a few years. My daughter is 14 going on 15. So I suppose in another year or two, I'll be where you are. And
sure.
I do look at her every day and I'm like, I wonder, could I just get her back as a toddler just for like a day?
Right.
Because
Totally.
I missed her at that age, you know. When she was younger, people would say to me all the time, enjoy her because the time goes by so quickly, and you take it for granted because you're in that moment and you're thinking, oh, the time is not going by quickly. She's doing this, she's doing that. She can't stop moving up and down. And it does go by quickly because she's now 14 going on 15, and I would give anything to have her back as a toddler, even just for a day.
Absolutely. There's so much that we take for granted. And that certainly is one of them. And it's interesting as much as, everyone's going to give that caution. The same advice that you got was the same advice that we got as young parents. And so everyone says it. And I would just flip it now just to tie it back into the theme of the conversation here today is, it's really easy to look at your business as a set of numbers. Mm-hmm. But those numbers are just the scoreboard. They're the outcome of the decisions that we're making every single day and the relationships that we're building every single day and the people that we're serving every single day. And hopefully, depending on the nature of your business, you are transforming people's lives. In some cases, it might be a very small transformation, but it brings a sense of ease or allows people to do something a little bit more quickly or resolves a particular pain point or frustration for them. And so the work that you're doing really, really matters. And if you're serving meals to people, right, as a restaurant or something else, there are people behind every number and no matter what you're looking at, there are people behind the numbers, and the numbers are just collections and representations of the decisions that we're making every day and the people that we're serving every day. So we can't lose sight of that either.
Yeah, agreed. All right, Ethan. So let's say our listeners had a quick listen to this episode and they want to connect with you even further. They'd like to follow you online. Where can they find you online?
Sure. You can email me directly. It's Ethan, ETHAN, at BombBomb.com. Mm-hmm. It's just the word bomb twice, BOMB, BOMB.com. My last name is spelled BEUTE. And obviously, I welcome connections on LinkedIn. And add a note to it, by the way, if you listen to this conversation and reach out to me on LinkedIn, I promise I will send you a personal video back. And I try to do that with everybody. I don't get everybody, but if you add in the note that you heard this podcast, I will definitely take care to do that. And I'm Ethan Beute on basically any social network. And of course, you can learn more about us at BombBomb.com. You can learn about the book at BombBomb.com/book. And you can learn about the podcast at BombBomb.com/podcast.
Brilliant. All right. Okay, so Ethan, before we wrap our episodes up, we always like to ask our guests, do you have a quote or a saying that during times of adversity or challenge, you'll tend to revert to this quote? It kind of helps to keep you refocused, kind of get you back on track. Do you have one of those?
Interesting. I don't. But the one thing I'll offer is that you don't get what you don't ask for. I think, the worst you're ever going to hear from anyone in any circumstance is no. Yeah. The more comfortable you can get with that, the better. There's a humility oftentimes required in asking for help or asking for a favor. Mm-hmm. And frankly, again, just to go to the relationship piece, people like to help other people. And I think to the degree that it's a reasonable ask, most people will say yes most of the time. I've been shocked at how many times people have said yes. And so if you find yourself in this time of the pandemic, whether it's a personal feeling or whether it's a professional challenge, a business challenge or whatever, don't be afraid to reach out to people and ask for help, even if it's just for a second opinion or a thought or a conversation. People want to help each other. And there's something very honest and humbling of you to make that ask of other people and to reveal that you do need or want some help. And I think it draws us closer together. Yeah,
that's a very good point. It's funny you say that because it's one of the things that I encourage my daughter to do. Generally speaking, I find that in a learning environment, you'll have people who may want to ask a question, or even in a business meeting, you may have a staff meeting, and you can share with me if you think this is something that's common. But people will sit down in a meeting, and you'll get to the section of Q&A, and they'll say, guys, any questions? And it's not until one person, brave person, courageous person, raises their hand and asks a question. It's not that 5 or 10 other people didn't have the same question or similar, but nobody was brave enough to kind of take that first step to ask the question. And so even with my daughter from she was younger. I always say to her, no question is stupid, and you should always ask the question, because somebody else in the class is going to benefit from you asking that question. And I mean, I've proven it time and time again with my own activities when I attend programs or if I attend a meeting. You know, as I said, people are, I don't know why it prevents them from, if they're fearful or what exactly, but you're right. You'll never know unless you ask. You have to put yourself out there.
Yeah, I completely agree. There is no bad question. And really, especially if someone has presented information, to ask a question, even if it feels to you like a dumb question, like you should have gotten the answer by listening,
Right.
it gives the person another chance to double down on what they obviously are excited about and have invested a lot of time and energy. And if someone is presenting information or a short presentation or whatever, people love questions about the work that they do. And it shows that you have a level of interest in addition to, you know, whatever else you learn. It shows some respect, and it puts the presenter or the person answering the questions in a position that they generally like to be in.
Yeah, agreed. All right. Well, we are at the end of our time and our conversation. I had a wonderful time talking to you today, Ethan. Thank you. Thank you so, so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule to come on and hop on this podcast with us and basically discuss with us all of the things that we're eager to learn about, eager to know about, so that we can enhance our customer experience and basically build better relationships with each other, regardless of the industry that we are in. So we're grateful for you taking time to share with us today.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity, and I enjoyed the conversation very much too.
And so, guys, I just want to remind you that if you'd like to join our Facebook group, it's called Navigating the Customer Experience Community. Just type that into the search bar in Facebook and it will definitely take you there. And then please feel free to follow us on Twitter at NavigatingCX. So until next time, I'm your host, Yannick Grant. Thank you for listening to Navigating the Customer Experience. If you'd like to connect with us even more, please feel free to hop onto Facebook and join our private Facebook group, Navigating the Customer Experience Community. And of course, feel free to follow us on Twitter at NavigatingCX. We also have a new book available on Amazon, The ABCs of a Fantastic Customer Experience. It's available in ebook and paperback. So if you want to increase revenue in your organization, build a stronger service culture, and create employees or develop employees who are really mastering service delivery in your business, you need to grab a copy of this book. Until next time, I'm your host, Yannick Grant.
Thanks for listening. For more awesome resources to take your customer service game to another level, head over to navigatingthecustomerexperience.com. See you next time.